When the eviction took place on the 3rd, I had nowhere to go then. I didn't want to go to the mission. You know, I was in limbo, basically just going back and forth around the building, spending my time in split places, and then I sleep outside. Sleeping outside at the bus stop, you know, just laying there, you know, still trying to figure out, you know, a few resources, calling a few places. I actually was supposed to start a job the next day. I couldn't start the job because the eviction was going on. I believe the system is set up for people to fail and find their own way, you know, within their failure. I came to Lincoln when I was 17 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as a state ward. Being a ward of the state, basically, it was a label. Now that label sticks with you. You may want to go apply for a job and they probably seen you on the news for a case you've been found innocent of, but they don't know that. Only thing they know is, oh, I seen him on the news. You know what I'm saying? And it actually has a big effect on your life. I was labeled with onset schizophrenia. I never did anything to be in the system. I was just a product of my environment. So being low income or considered, you know, mentally disabled or handicapped, I felt like I never fit these molds. I withheld rent due to maintenance concerns. I fell through a hardship in which I could have caught up on rent if I wanted to, but why catch up on rent when your maintenance concerns, the things that's deemed as essential, are not being given? As far as my plumbing, my water, sewage coming out of the pipes.
What we've seen a lot down at the courthouse are retaliatory evictions. And by that, I mean evictions where the tenant filed a complaint with the city or even just asked for basic repairs to be made, and the landlord in response evicted them either immediately or just gave them a 30-day notice, or sometimes breached the lease because the landlord would rather have somebody in there who wasn't complaining or who wasn't asking for repairs to be made.
One thing that is a little bit disappointing is that oftentimes tenants' only course of action for something that they've asked their landlord to fix and they're not fixing it is a 14 30-day notice, which basically means that if you don't fix the issue within 14 days, in 30 days I'm moving out and our lease is terminated. That's really frustrating because a lot of the times tenants are continuing to endure conditions and situations where they don't have the affordable and adequate housing that they need. On the flip side, a lot of landlords are really lenient. They will try to work with the tenant because evictions are expensive for landlords too. That turnover is lost income on their part. Because of this, it creates this really tenuous relationship where a tenant will not want to speak up because they know that they're getting a cut from their landlord or that their landlord lets them pay their rent late and they just don't want to cause any more trouble that would jeopardize their housing situation.
I don't feel as if it's just behavior to evict people who are going through a hardship. I feel as if landlords should actually try to come to some type of mediation or agreement and try to see the bigger picture. Oh, this person is going through a hard time. Hey, let me help this person as much as I can. Let me see what his concerns are or complaints are, and let me see how I can assist him within making his life easier so he can make my life easier.
Things get lost in translation. When I tell my attorney to tell their attorney to tell them, we talked and we worked things out. We wrote up a new lease. We decided to do it month to month for a while, just to make sure. And she agreed to try to build a relationship and show them that I'm not what they think I am because of the way that things had started out.
The impact and benefit having legal representation in these cases is just significant. It's critical. It's night and day difference. In so many of these cases, once the landlord has filed an action and is coming to court, there's often very little room to negotiate. However, when there's attorneys on both sides of the case, that process becomes so much more seamless. By the time these folks have come to court, they've already gone through typically so many issues and so many crises in their lives. This is one more stressor on them that makes things very difficult and very unbearable. unbearable for them. And so having someone there to kind of take that task away from them and to be able to communicate without all of the emotion, I think is just absolutely critical.
My kid's dad is terminal with cancer, so they have a lot of weight on them. I mean, they're 13, 12, and 10, and they're dealing with the fact that they know that their dad isn't gonna be there when they're adults. They've been through so much, but they're still like just so loving and caring, and they were finally in a place where they were all happy. They had their own rooms. I couldn't take that from them. You know, I could not take that away from them. And so I fought with everything that I had. Like, it was very important to me for my kids to be happy.